Okay. Mr. Bennett, I am a bit concerned about the collaboration between the National Assembly and the executive in facilitating the effective implementation of the Nigerian budget. Because most times when after the budgeting year, you come and you heard that maybe in this 2019 budget, about 2 point something trillion naira has been allocated to capital expenditure, while 6 point something trillion is allocated to recurrent expenditure. Even notwithstanding the meager amount, 2 point something trillion for capital expenditure, at the end of the day, when you look at it critically, less than 50% of that budget on capital expenditure is implemented.
Yes, because you don't get the money. You don't. Now, when it's very easy to follow. The government budgets 8 point something trillion, and every month follow the FAAC disbursements. 52% goes to the federal government.
Yes.
So per month, what's 52% of 671 billion that they just disbursed? So by the time you add it up, maybe the government at the end of the day is able to make 4 trillion naira out of 8 point something trillion, sometimes 5 trillion naira out of 8 point something trillion. So it's, these economists, they find big grammars, but it's simple. It's not. We do business. We businessmen are affected because the amount of money in circulation will determine the demand for my services. So what goes into the federal government's purse, and the first thing the federal government is going to take care of is recurrent.
Let me bring you back. Salaries. Yes. Let me bring you back a little. There are different committees in the National Assembly, in the Senate and the House of Representatives. And before, when a budget is drawn up or when they carry out oversight functions, they go and inspect. When this budget is drawn up, these committees are not just responsible for just go and see what they've been told by those ministries and departments and agencies to see, but also to probe the veracity of that information and to make sure that what's on ground is not what's on ground last 3 years ago. What were shown 3 years ago, some of those senators have spent more than 3 times in the office as a senator. It's not what you meant 3 years ago that is still reflecting in the budget of that ministry. You're supposed to query that.
There are two sides to it, and following the Senate sections,
yes,
Nigerians who follow that will be able to decipher what has happened. Sometimes senators ask those questions. This was in this budget 2 years ago. This was in this budget last year. Why is it in this budget? But most times, it's still the problem or the challenge of funding. Maybe in 2 years ago,
okay,
illustratively, 500 computers were supposed to be bought in that ministry. Maybe that ministry had a budget of 10 million naira. 6 million for salaries, maintenance and all that. 4 million for buying laptops, trainings and all that. By the time, with all the monies they get, they will first take care of salaries. Maybe at the end of the day, it was just 6.5 million that they got out of the 10 million. So that will take care of the salary. Just remaining 500 million naira. 500,000 naira. So what would they do with it? So the following year, they will still put that buying of computers there because it wasn't done the previous year. So that is why we have these
budget deficits.
Yes. No.
Not
this recurring projects. That's it. So what the Senate the legislature they have their own problems. In a year whereby the executive proposed 8.8 trillion naira, you added 100 billion. They did some laudable additions but they now took 23 billion. They added 23 billion for their own severance package, as well as money for incoming welcome to the club senators and representatives. We have forgotten that those monies added are not monies that we're going to take from somewhere that we already kept it. They are monies that are going into deficit. Because this current budget already has a deficit of 1.9 trillion. So if there was no deficit, I will not argue about that. I will not frown about it. If I know that we have a budget of 8.9 trillion and that anyway, anyhow, the government will make 10 trillion naira so that there will be savings. Then if you now impute 23 or 24 billion severance package and welcome package for the incoming legislatures, I will not complain because it's from the savings. I will not really complain because I know it's from savings. But you have reduced our savings. But this time around, it is from deficit. A budget that we cannot even implement, that already has 1.9 trillion deficit. You are still adding another 100 billion. So that is why people say they are padded. So sometimes people that have taken partisan approach to all these things, they take this side or they take this side. But at the end of the day, it is not them. It is the masses and the people that will be affected. It is our generation that will pay the debt.